Good evening, everyone. I want to begin this evening by acknowledging that while many of our members have adopted to the new circumstances, for many, many others, either because of illness or death in their families, or difficult home conditions, or psychological pressures, or loss of livelihood, this continues to be a time of great anxiety and difficulty. So our hearts go out to them, and we offer our deepest condolences to the bereaved members of our community. We pray for the good health and the well-being of every member of the community, indeed, for every citizen of this country and those of other countries as well. Included in this, of course, are our fervent prayers for the Prime Minister, and I express the hope on behalf of all of our members that he has a speedy and complete recovery. The subject of this broadcast was advertised as a reflection of our first anniversary in our new building and the future. But due to the urgency of the moment, I hope that you will excuse me if I address a more pressing issue. There is a deceptively simple passage in the early part of the Haggadah. 5 of the greatest sages of Israel have gathered for a Seder in Bnei Brak. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah declares that until his colleague Shimon ben Zomer pointed out to him a verse in the Torah, he never knew that there is an obligation to mention the exodus from Egypt at night as well as in the day. But why would Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, one of the greatest sages of the age, appointed as the illustrious head of the Sanhedrin at age 17, not know something so obvious? The answer is that this passage is coded. There is another layer of meaning beneath the surface. Day, a time of light and brightness, is a symbol of good times. Night, when there's darkness and gloom, represents the difficult times. It makes perfect sense that in the day, the good times, when we live in freedom and without constraints, that it should be important and sobering to remember that we were once slaves. It serves as a restraint on complacency and on arrogance. But in the periods of night, the dark hours, when there's persecution and suffering and death and destruction all around, what sense is there in talking about the glorious days of freedom? Why praise the past if it has not delivered its promise to the present? In a sense, the same question could be asked of Pesach this year. Why celebrate our freedom when we are anything but free? Confined to our homes, without our families to celebrate with us, stalked by an invisible, omnipresent virus, and with wholesale death all around us? Is this a time to sing praises to God? Nevertheless, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was persuaded by his colleagues, and the law was established that we remember the Exodus each morning and each night, notably in the twice daily recital of the Shema, and so too in regard to Pesach. Throughout the ages, Jews have continued to celebrate the liberation and granting of our freedom, even when it has not been obvious that we're experiencing it. And the question is, why? There are several possibilities. One is that in times of darkness and difficulty, one clings to hope. Things will get better and freedom will return. Or as the Queen put it, quoting Vera Lynn, we will meet again. Another is that having been bequeathed the precious concept of human freedom and the dignity of life, we may not relinquish this fundamental concept even for a moment. We carry this lit flame from generation to generation in every circumstance, so the world should not lose it. But I'd like to suggest a third reason, by way of a Jewish folktale. A Jewish innkeeper is imprisoned by a Polish nobleman for not paying his rent. He pleads for his life and the well-being of his family. The nobleman agrees that if in 3 days he can produce in 3 words something that will make him happy when he is sad and sad when he is happy, he will let him free. 3 days pass. The Jew is hauled before the nobleman. He gives him a piece of paper. There are 3 words written on it. The nobleman reads the words and, smiling, instructs his attendants to let the man free. The attendants are amazed and they beg to see what is written. The nobleman shows them in Hebrew on the paper written 3 words, Gam ze ya'avor, this too will pass. When the nobleman is sad, This thought will make him happy. When he is happy, the realization that the moment will not last forever makes him sad. This too will pass. It is possible that after it has passed, nothing will have changed. We'll go back to our old ways. This is not to be insensitive to the hundreds of thousands of people who have suffered loss and bereavement, for whom we appreciate things will never be the same. But in a broader sense, humanity may once again unthinkingly engage in the pursuit of happiness. If that were to happen, we should feel sad. Not because the happiness may be temporary, as in the story, but because we will have failed to recognize that in the depths of this crisis, the unconquerable human spirit is being unleashed with its determination to overcome all adversity. We are experiencing the freedom to reach out beyond our self-centered lives and to connect with other human beings. We are witnessing an extraordinary coming together of doctors, nurses, scientists, engineers, statisticians, politicians in a single collaboration that cuts across national and political borders. We are discovering the ability to care about each other, ordinary citizens caring about and for ordinary citizens. We are reconnecting with our families. In this huge, global, collaborative effort, we are beginning to change and reshape the underpinnings and contours of society for the better. Our sages decided that we should talk about the story of freedom even during times of night, because they understood that the greatest liberation of the spirit occurs during these dark times. They wanted us to talk about it because they didn't want us to forget the profound effect of these times when it once again becomes day. There are lessons to be learned that we will need to remember when the dawn breaks for the world again, as it surely will. Until then, each one of us will continue to dig deep and draw on the hidden reserves of resilience that will carry us forward to better times, and may they come soon. Lindy and I, the Levine family, and all the rabbinic team wish you a Chag Sameach. And now stay tuned for a fantastic 20-minute video compilation of fun messages from members of the South Hampstead community, which has been put together by Levi Levine, and the video for this broadcast was by Mike Kelly. A good night to all of you. I wish you all a Pesach Kasher v'Sameach and stay well.
The very first Pesach Shlomo and I spent in the flat above the old shul with our little children. As around the Seder table we recited Ha Lachma Anya, there was a knock at the street door.
Anishtana Halayla Azeh Mikol HaLeilos is going to take on a whole new meaning for all of us celebrating Pesach this year.
But Pesach is still a festival of freedom, and we wish that everybody should find the inner freedom to enjoy and celebrate as we always do.
Chag Kasher v'Sameach.
The children ran to the windows. Mommy, Tati, there's people outside. I stuck my head out the window and said, Hi, Chag Sameach, can we help you? We have no Seder to go to, they said. And so they joined ours. There was the invitation to everyone outside who had no Seder.
One of my favourite parts of Pesach.
One of my favourite parts of Pesach
is singing Vehi She'amda.
Chag Sameach. May we have guests and be guests in the future. And may we always welcome the consistent guest, Eliyahu Hanavi.
Chag Sameach!
Chag Sameach! Chag Sameach! Chag Sameach! L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim.
Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot.
For Pesach this year, we've grown our own lettuce. Chag Sameach from the Maurices.
What is this night different from any other night? Or from any other year for that matter? That's a great question. Chag Sameach from all the day.
Wishing you all
Hope, faith,
Joy.
love.
freedom. Happy Pesach!
Jacob, Canadel, Strudel, Hannah and me wish you all Chag Sameach.
Everybody's getting fit over here for Pesach, so that we'll be able to get through all the matzah. Chag Sameach!
Celebrate Pesach with love from all the Leon family.
Chag Sameach from the Simon family.
I like Pesach because of why we need to eat matzot. I like sitting with my family at the Seder table. Wishing you all a Chag Sameach.
Hi, we are the Rosenthal family.
Pesach is one of our absolute favourite festivals. We love celebrating Seder with family and friends.
But what we really enjoy, which has become a family tradition each year, is
Making a matzah house. These get better and better every single year.
We make them with matzah glued together with either chocolate or caramel.
And then we have great fun decorating them with sweets, candy and chocolate.
Shackbone on my Seder plate helps to make the Seder great. Harosset and some wine to sip. Don't forget the greens to dip.
We wish you all a happy Pesach. We hope you all stay well and healthy, and we hope to see you soon.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Bitter herbs and an egg complete. Our Seder plate is now. Let's eat.
Chag Sameach,
Chag
everyone.
Chag Sameach, everybody.
Never before has why is this night different from all other nights been more significant. But with the spirit of South Hampstead community, we will get through this. Chag Sameach.
Every Pesach I'm reminded of my wonderful mum who would spend hours making eingemachs.
Chag Sameach!
She would take great pleasure in filling each empty glass jam pot that she had kept over the year, and she would give each of these pots away to her friends and family to wish them, as I wish you, a Chag Sameach.
Happy Passover, everybody! We wish we could all be celebrating together, but this is the Black family at home. We normally have lots of friends and family, and everybody singing, and grandparents.
I hope you have a lovely holiday.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We survived Pharaoh, and we'll survive this. Chag Sameach, or Chag Shameach, Am Yisrael Chai.
So, what are your best memories of Pesach that you'd like to share?
Wow, that's really hard. We have so many funny memories. But how about right now?
Go down, Moses, way down to Egypt's land.
Wishing you all a great Pesach. We will have a drink in your health and happiness. And needless to say, Laura will be saying the Manishtana.
Because I'm the youngest.
King Pharaohs, please let my people go. They work so hard all day. They want to go away. King Pharaohs, what do you say?
No, no, no! We will not let them go!
Edward and Jane Lando sending all good wishes to the whole community. Stay well, stay safe.
And Chag Sameach.
Our family tradition from Mogador in Morocco is to walk across the room on Seder night pretending we are slaves coming out of Egypt, with a bag of matzot on our back. Avadi Hayinu, Hayinu.
Chag Sameach! Happy Pesach!
And our special tradition is, if you ever are chasing your egg around the salt water, we use an egg slicer to slice our eggs, and we don't need to chase our eggs around.
Our enduring memory of every single Seder night we've had is how many glasses of wine get toppled over by the end of the evening. Louis the worst, by the way. Happy Pesach.
The Jeff Klein family wish our beloved Southampton community a happy and above all a healthy Pesach. This is a time more than any that our own personal stories will be added to the enduring story of the Jewish people. Sending lots of love to all of you.
My favourite Pesach song is Chad Gadya with all the animal noises.
My favourite Pesach song is Who Knows What, particularly when it's sung in tune and we motion out each thing with our hands.
Chag Sameach!
Chag Sameach!
Barbara and Barry Carmel, the family, wish everyone at South Hampstead good health, stay safe, and let's look forward to all being together soon. Chag Sameach.
We're here all together to wish you Happy Pesach. In the restrictions of our home, but still celebrating freedom. Happy Passover, Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach! What we love about Pesach is
Matzah,
freedom,
Charoset,
family time,
the singing, Chag Sameach!
Chag Sameach!
Welcome to the Pesach News. Your memories from last year's Pesach.
My memories of Pesach are spending it in Morocco with my dad. Wach das die wach, wach das die wach, which you'll know is only one kid. Happy Pesach, everybody!
My favourite memories of Pesach have always been sharing it with all the family. It's just the tradition, it's the togetherness, it's always the egg in the salt water that you know you've come to the end of the service and the meal's going to begin.
My favourite memory of Pesach last year was my grandpa getting to have his dream, which was having all the Hatchell family in Morocco for Pesach, which we call the Blue House.
And that feeling that a story has been told for so many thousands of years the same way, for generations and generations, but the fact that the story is so biblical that it feels very, very spiritual.
Our favourite part of Seder night is finding the Afikomen.
Hi Southampton, happy Pesach everyone from all the Wellers. Here are a few of the things we love most about Pesach.
I love the amazing sweet crunchy matzah crack. If you're wondering what it's made of a layer of matzah, caramel, chocolate and sprinkles.
The thing I most enjoy doing at the Seder table is asking questions, mainly because we get a marshmallow for each question we ask.
Thanks a bit everyone.
Bye!
והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו, מצילנו מידם. Night, 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 night.
Have a happy and healthy Pesach from the Millers.
Yo, this is for all my people at Southampton, for Shy, Southampton Youth. I love you guys. Have a hug, Kasher Sameach, bring out your inner self, love, kindness, peace. See you on the third floor for the Schnitzel Kiddush.
Our favourite song is Chad Gadya. We all put on masks and make noises that correspond with them.
And our favourite noise is...
The song that most clearly evokes this time of uncertainty as we approach Pesach is a song by an Israeli writer called Meir Ariel called Avarnu et Paro, Na'avor gam et zeh. We survived Pharaoh, we'll survive this. Chag Sameach.
My funniest Seder moment was when I was 18 on my gap year in Israel and we went to a communal Seder. And round the table there were a few people that didn't really want to be at Seder and they spent most of the time complaining about how hungry they are. At one point, one of the people around the table, who was so hungry she couldn't wait till dinner, leant over, picked the shank bone up off the Seder plate and started eating it.
It says in the Haggadah, בכל דור ודור חייב אדם לראות עצמו כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים.
Each person must see themselves as if they personally came out of Egypt.
In our Kurdish tradition, in my family, we used at this point to dress up the kids as Israelites and let them show as if they came out of Egypt and tell the whole story of Yetziat Mitzrayim. We wish you all Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach to Kulam.
What do you like eating on your matzah?
I like chocolate with matzah, I like jam with matzah, I like peanut butter with matzah.
Happy Pesach, everybody! Happy Pesach!
I like salt and butter with matzah, I like just butter with cheese on it, I like chocolate on matzah. Did I mention I like chocolate on matzah?
Who knows 13? I know 13. 13 are the divine attributes of God, and 12 are the tribes of Israel, and 11 are the stars in Joseph's dream, and 10 are the big commandments, and 9 are the months before the trumpet, 8 days before the trumpet, 10 days of the week, and 6 works of the Mishnah, 5 works of Ezra, 4 months of the Father's Children, and 1 is Hashem, 1 is Hashem, 1 is Hashem, on the heaven and the earth, and say ooh, ah, Chag Sameach, everybody!
I'm Ella, and my favourite Pesach was when we went on a cruise ship and we celebrated Pesach with people all over the world. Chag Sameach, everybody.
I'm Benjamin, and I've got a Pesach fact for you. At the top of the mountain, God gave Moses the important laws. These laws were called the commandments and would tell the people how to live. Chag Sameach, everybody.
So Maury Feldman is about to be recognised for 40 years service at the Stepney Old People's Home, and he's been nominated and is going to be made Sir Maury Feldman. The day of the investiture comes round at Buckingham Palace, and it is customary they're all given a rehearsal beforehand, and he's waiting in line, and suddenly the Queen looks up and Maury Feldman's name's called, and he walks up and he kneels down before her. She taps him on one shoulder, she taps him on the other shoulder, and as is customary, you're supposed to say a few words of Latin before you're officially made a Sir. But he freezes. He completely, in his moment of excitement and trepidation, he completely freezes. So he says the only words that come into his mind, which are Manesh Tanah Halayla Hazeh. And the Queen prods Prince Philip and says, why is this night different to all other nights?
We hope you have a lovely Pesach and have Zoom call with your family. Chag Sameach.
I'd like to wish Chag Kasher Sameach from all of our family, and looking forward to seeing the community back in person as soon as possible. Chag Sameach.
I thought I'd relate the most humorous Pesach experience in this family, which was when my brother-in-law brought his fiancée to our first Seder night. We'd only met her a couple of times, and when she came in she was nervous and she asked for a glass of water, and my husband Lawrence went and poured her a glass of water from the jug in the kitchen, which was actually the salt water for the eggs. She promptly ran into the bathroom and was violently sick. Not a good introduction to the family. Chag Sameach.
Last year in Morocco, fulfilling my father-in-law's dream to have Pesach in Essaouira, in his old house, we went shopping for vegetables, not in M&S or Waitrose, but in the market with a great big push wheelbarrow, haggling for every single thing. It was hilarious. Thank you for the memory. Chag Sameach to everybody. Stay safe, stay well, and see you soon.
One morning when Pharaoh woke in his bed, there were frogs on his pillow and frogs on his head, frogs on his toes and frogs on his nose. Frogs here, frogs were jumping everywhere.
This is our favourite time of year, and we get to be with our family from all over the world, be it Africa, America, Israel, and we want to give everybody a message of hope and love and peace.
Wishing everyone a
Happy Chag Sameach.
There's no Seder like our Seder, there's no Seder I know. Everything about it is halachic, nothing that the Torah won't allow. Listen how we read the whole Haggadah, it's all in Hebrew, 'cause we know how. Chag Sameach, everybody.
Chag Sameach, Kulam.
I'm Rayful Langham. I'd like to tell you about my most memorable Seder. It was 46 years ago. I was in the British Royal Air Force, the RAF, stationed in the Suez Canal zone of Egypt in 1954.
Hi everyone, Chag Sameach from us both. Wishing you both all the best, good health, and have a wonderful Pesach. Sending our love.
I decided that I would like to go to Israel for Pesach, and so the RAF flew me to Cyprus, and then I was able to take a boat to Haifa, and from Haifa I took a bus to Jerusalem. When I arrived in Jerusalem, I realized I had forgotten the address of the people that my parents had arranged for me to spend Pesach with, or Seder night, and I didn't know what to do.
Chag Sameach Southampton community from the Ingram family, the Bellows and the Mandel family. Keep safe, and I hope you have a wonderful Yom Tov.
Chag Sameach to everybody from Andrea and Louis Bloch. Our funny Pesach story was the year my father hid the afikomen so well that we only found it 2 weeks later. Chag Sameach.
So, come the evening, Erev Pesach, I went to shul and it was fairly crowded, but looking around I saw a man who I thought I vaguely recognized. Unfortunately, he left shul immediately at the end of the service and I was unable to catch him.
Chag Sameach!
Hope you all have a healthy and happy Pesach.
Keep well.
And enjoy your matzah.
But when I went out, I saw him about 100 yards away walking down the road, so I followed him. And I followed him to a house, and when I arrived at that house, I knocked at the door, and a woman came to the door, and she looked at me and she said, "You're Rayful. We've been waiting for you all day."
My favourite food on Pesach is chocolate matzah and chocolate muffin. And I wish you a happy Pesach.
Happy Pesach.
Happy Pesach.
Chag Sameach, everybody. Missing you lots, but enjoy seeing everybody on Zoom. Have a great Pesach.
This has been the quietest Pesach for 3,000 years. We haven't had to worry who to invite or who we're going to. It's completely stress-free. Have a good Pesach.
This is Jacques and Diane Fragis. Our favorite tradition for Pesach is to be in Tel Aviv with our two daughters, close family from Tel Aviv, and friends from both from London and from South Africa. We're going to miss it this year, but we're looking forward to it for next year. So here's hoping that we're going to be there. Chag Sameach, everybody.
Stay well and healthy, everybody. Hope to see you soon.
Favourite memory of Pesach is that 17 members of the family congregating in a Sari in Morocco last year with my father, who passed in October. In the houses essentially rebuilt and which had been in the family for over 150 years. It was a momentous trip. And I think my funniest experience is listening to him singing Haggadah in Arabic. Zuzi Flus, I believe, is only one kid, but someone can confirm that for me.
Our family joke is that we always offer an unsuspecting Seder night guest a little Tupperware carton with a lid on and look at them all happily and say, smell this, just take the lid off and smell this. And what is it when they take the lid off? It's grated grain. And their faces and their noses and their eyes just start running and they look very shocked, but we all have a good laugh.
From all of the Starskis to all of the Southampton community, wishing you a happy, safe and kosher Pesach.
I come from a family of atheists, which is really dreary. So Suzanne, who was sympathetic to my situation, invited me to their Seder, the Passover meal. I was quite excited about this, but a bit apprehensive, and Josh didn't really put me at ease when he told me the evening involved sacrificing Christy.
Chag Sameach from the Summerfield family. For me, Pesach means being together with my family and also remembering family from old who are no longer with us.
Chag Sameach, everyone. The older I get, the more I appreciate freedom, and therefore Pesach is one of my favourite festivals. It's all about freedom. The only problem is arguing between Newcastle and London songs at the end of the evening.
But I was lucky enough to sit next to Josh's grandmother, Sally, who was really kind and good at explaining what was going on. Everything in the Seder is a symbol of the Passover story. So the horseradish symbolises the bitterness of slavery in Egypt. The salt water symbolises the tears shed in exile. Suzanne symbolically forgot to put the food in the oven, so that by about 10:30, we were all symbolising the starving Hebrews.
Pesach is a time for communal and family get-togethers, and sadly in the conventional way, this has been taken away from us. Francis and I used to entertain Monty and Lila Richardson. Lila would come for all the Seder, and Monty would join us, having walked back from the East End, where he hosted a communal Seder. One year, as we opened the door for Shvoch HaMatcha, in walked Monty. Clearly, the Mashiach had come for his cup of wine. We wish you all a virtual and collective Seder, that we are all in this together, and wish you Chag Sameach.
Full of hope and promise.
Chag Sameach!